Louis Goehmert is going to be on here in just a second. I'm going to try hard not to ask him about the John Boehner thing because I don't want to put him in a tough situation. But I don't think Louis Goehmert's going to have a problem with tough situations, quite honestly. But currently, I'm trying to convince him to run for Senate, and so I don't.
That'll be a tough enough situation for him to maneuver.
Yeah,
he's got to finesse that one as well.
I told him I told him some. It was not a lie. It was just not completely all of the truth. Even though I did tell him at the end. I'll call you tomorrow morning, Senator. It was he finally got the exemption. Now, other people's names are on it, and that's totally cool. And whoever needs to get the credit gets the credit. But I want to make sure that Louis Goehmert gets the credit. For about 2 or 3 years now, Louis Goehmert has been trying to get the military exempted out of the shutdown mess. Remember, the military was part of the shutdown mess. So if you ever shut down the government, then the military. And so everybody's like, you're going to shut down the military. Well, is it still working? Why is that? Louis Goehmert. Louis Goehmert has been working on this amendment for a long time, a few years, and John Boehner is one of them. John Boehner stood in his way. Everybody stood in his way. He kept going. Well, it was just signed in. So now the military's off the table. So now when there's a shutdown, they can't say all the wars, all that. You have some actual clout. You have some actual power. And I think America should know, while a lot of people were involved in that, Louis Goehmert is the guy who should get the credit. And I think that's good. So I told him that I wanted to have him on for that. But my real purpose is
to get him to run against John Cornyn next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
seriously, Stu, John Cornyn has $7 million in his coffers.
Mm-hmm.
Louis Goehmert has like $10.
I think it's $11.50 now.
It might be.
It's up to $11.50.
I don't think money is going to win this thing. I think you have to have money. You have to raise money, everything else. But I think there's going to be a lot of people. I think people are sick. I know. Pat, we just had dinner with a couple of people who said, I put all this money into this Karl Rove thing, or it wasn't even Karl Rove. It was some other thing. I just put all this money.
And it was wasted. It
all went to Mitt Romney and everything else. I didn't believe in any of it, but they said, okay, well, we can win. He said, all wasted. I'm done wasting my money. I'm not giving it to any of them before. And I said, would you give it to Louis Goehmert if I could convince him to run and be...
It was unanimous.
Unanimous.
Every one of them was
really
psyched about it. Yeah, they were thrilled.
So
with Louis Goehmert.
The question is Texas... does Texas have... Excuse the expression here. Do we have the balls the size of 1954 Cadillacs to send Louis Goehmert and Ted Cruz?
Yes.
I think we do.
So.
Yes, we do.
I think we do.
I think so. And in all honesty, I really think if Congressman Goehmert actually decided he wanted to do this,
he wins.
I think he would have a really good chance. I mean, I think he would have an easier road than Ted Cruz had. Ted Cruz came from a place where...
I do, too.
Even to us.
Didn't know him.
We didn't know Ted Cruz. He seemed like he was great, but we didn't know him very well.
And he had no money compared to David Dewhurst either.
Right?
Yeah.
Same situation.
Well, Ted Cruz, I guess, could raise money. He was good at raising money. I don't know if Louis is good at raising money.
I mean, he didn't have Dewhurst money. Dewhurst outspent him like 4 or 5 to 1.
Cruz won despite of the money.
Yeah.
In spite of the money.
And Louis Goehmert, every Texan knows, he's strong on the border.
Yes.
He's strong on the border. He's strong against Islamic terror. He is strong on faith. He's strong on the Constitution.
Yeah.
He's strong on all of the things that all Texans that I know want. And I was talking to a friend last night, and I said, you know what? Let me tell you something. If Louis Goehmert would run as senator and win, you change Texas politics. Because it would send shock waves into the system of the GOP that is corrupt and full of progressives right now in Texas. It would send shock waves through Texas, and we would have the opposite of what happened in Colorado happening in Texas.
Now imagine the other scenario. If we could also get rid of Lindsey Graham. And that was the other thing.
Just those two.
That was the other name we brought up, was we've got to be committed to getting rid of Lindsey Graham. And everybody at the table was unanimous on that as well. The only problem is we don't have a unanimous obvious person in that race yet.
Well, we don't have one yet until Senator
until Congressman Allen West moves to South Carolina and moves into the home we've offered.
Other one until we have Senator Goehmert coming on and announcing his candidacy, which could be in just a few minutes.
Yeah, could be. I mean, in what evidence do you have that could happen in the next?
Well, he's coming on the phone, so you don't. I mean,
okay.
He's coming on the phone.
Pretty good chance.
There's a good chance.
He could announce right here.
So most phone calls end in a Senate announcement.
Well, I don't know about
most, but the important one, the happy ones do.
Oh, okay.
It's happened.
The happy ones do. I'm telling you, I feel it strongly that he would win in Texas despite money. And I think money would flock to him because people know who he is. And everybody likes Louis. I mean, I've never heard a bad word about Louis. You may disagree with him.
From Democrats.
Yeah,
but that's
I've heard it from, CARE.
Yes.
But can you imagine, by the way, CARE changed their name. Did anybody know this?
No.
CARE just changed their name. Look it up, Stu. It's an amazing name. But they just changed their name. Why? Why would CARE change their name? Why? I don't know. What? So CARE changes their name. So you would have the Islamic people that would, these Islamic groups like CARE, they would come after Louis, and they'd spend a fortune. And also, quite honestly, the GOP. The GOP, if you said, as Tea Party people, we're going to concentrate on 2 national elections, Lindsey Graham and Cornyn, and target those 2, because there is no reason. Minnesota, I get it. New York, I get it. Massachusetts, I get it. But not Texas and not South Carolina. I don't get it. There's no reason we have these guys. California practically has Charles Manson going in and serving. Come on. You've got Joseph Stalin and Charlie Manson going in to serve for California. Why are we settling for some sort of progressive Republican? There's no reason for it. And can you imagine? I mean, let's just be honest. Whoa! You'd be sending not 1, but 2 Davy Crockett's into Washington. That would be historic. It'd be great. And he's going to accept this next. I just feel it. Louis Goehmert will be on with us in just a second. I would sure like you to call Louis Goehmert's office and tell him, we'll support you, Louis. Right now, what's his name Cornyn in Texas has $7 million in his war chest. And I'm telling you, he'd have the Republican Party. They will funnel money into him till the day is done.
He's the leader of the re-election committee in the Senate.
So he's going to have a
ton of money.
A ton of money, nonstop money. But I would rather have somebody like Louis Goehmert, who I know I can trust, who is not knifing us in the back. Louis Goehmert is going to be on the program. I like to call him Senator Louis Goehmert, a great senator from Texas. He doesn't like that too much yet.
Well, not yet.
But he will.
Soon.
He will. Louis Goehmert will also be joining us and so much more.